Assalamualaikum and salam sejahtera. Good evening. In fact, I'm so proud. This is the first time ever Astro Awani after 10 years, live from a rooftop, very casual setting with the main opinion leaders, not only of the whole state where we are. I'm here at Muara Tebas. Go and Google if you don't know where it is, because that's going to be a very important name. This is where BCCK is, Borneo Convention Center in Kuching, and for the first time, World Islamic Economic Forum is held here, right here in Kuching. They're just there. And Borneo has never seen WIEF. The 13th one is ongoing right now. This is a live show, and I have the two most powerful person right now that could be here. Nearest to me, of course, the state that managed to wrest away WIEF from so many other places in the world. You know, my home state, Perlis, has never had the chance. But Kuching now has it. I'm so proud. I would like to really welcome you, Ya Amat Berhormat Datuk Patinggi Dr. Abang Haji Abdul Rahman Johari, because this is an honor. And this is a public-private partnership, because we work with Sarawak Convention Bureau, we work with Serba Dynamic, SME becoming very big now, and we also work with WIEF to make this happen. And I couldn't work with WIEF if not for the great Ya Amat Berbahagia Tun Musa Hitam, Chairman of WIEF Foundation. Tun has put me through a lot of tests to qualify to do this. He made me moderate in Dubai and whatever else. But today we're going to talk about Sarawak, because it's disruptive change, challenges and impact, the theme of WIEF, the 13th. But Sarawak really astounded me 20 over years being a journalist editor, because no other state has ever come up with the blueprint for digital economy, and Sarawak has. And in your speech on the first day, you said that digital disruption doesn't only disrupt, it opens up new opportunities. It gives the ability, and I translate it as the ability for anyone to leap ahead, even though they are now behind, because technology now makes everything more equal. So if you can please elaborate on that, then I'll go to the great Tun.
Thank you very much. First thing, you must understand what is disruptive change mean. It is not an ordinary word that gives ordinary meaning.
Yes.
But in technological terms, disruptive change means something that comes out from certain value change. And in technology, as you know, Bill Gates and his friends started the software, what we call the internet connectivity.
Yes.
What happened is, through internet, people invent something new using the internet connectivity. It comes about people who are very smart. They invent something new out of internet, such as Uber,
Correct.
such as Netflix.
Yes.
And these are something out of creativity and innovation of people. And that is what we call disruptive change. And there is a possibility that under the 4.0 Industrial Revolution, this system will be further improved. And that definitely will create new challenges and new opportunities
Correct.
for people.
I totally agree with that. So I'm going to go to Tun now. There must be a reason why Kuching has been selected. You must have seen the synergy between the team of this year's WIEF and what Sarawak has to offer.
Well, it is quite simple, really, how we came to decide on Kuching. We bump into each other, if I may use the word bump into each other, in Jakarta, with YB and me. And we talked about it, and almost suddenly he said, what about coming to Sarawak?
Yeah.
And without hesitation, I said, yes. That's how it started. Then we followed up, and cut the story short, we sent a delegation here. The first meeting with Yama Bohmat, he straightway to say, I'm sorry for my voice, and not too nervous because being nervous with you, maybe with the YAB here. Yeah. But anyway, by then, when we appeared in his office, he just told us, we are adopting digital economy and we are going forward as a state. And that was the reason that when we discussed the subject to be discussed, when we went back, was, well, what better theme than what it is? So I'm really very impressed by the way that decision was made very fast. It was Kuching, and digital economy is the one that we want to concentrate. And it turns out to be that the Chief Minister of Sarawak is somewhat of an expert on the subject and talking about it, and almost we were just surprised. I want to be, one word, to be quite frank with you, it's seldom that we come across a political leader who wants something highly technical, advanced, to be achieved, yet be almost very much into it himself.
Don't you know, we have loved you for many, many decades, you know, as a politician, as a leader, as a patron, as a thought leader. Our beacon overseas, whenever I had one or twice the chance when you were active to hear you speak overseas, and I'm proud to be a Malaysian. So I would like to, for you to indulge us a bit more, to frame it, especially for the young Malaysians watching this show. How far has Sarawak traveled to be where it is now? Because you have looked at Sarawak as the number 2 in this nation. You have led agencies and ministries that are pivotal to development. So now Sarawak is talking about digital economy like it has been there all along. And many other states can't do that.
Yes, actually, I have known Sarawak since my political childhood days. I was political secretary to a very people-oriented minister, Datuk Sadon. At that time, Malaysia was just being formed, and he made it a point that we would visit every nook and corner of Sarawak. I cannot tell you enough about the experience. And by its very nature, I really got to see Sarawak in its form those early days. And I don't want to put too much praise, YAB, people misunderstand or anything. I just want to say the progress that has been achieved has been phenomenal. It's all depends on the political leadership. And I think the political leadership of the state is making it move the way that it should be. But to be digital means much more than that. Yes. It's not like building bridges or providing water. No, it's something that is ahead. And for a country, or for a state especially, to be looking after its own future, there's nothing better than go digital, man, go digital, man. Yes. And that's what the government is doing. For that alone, for the thinking, I think that's an enormous jump from the kampong type of thing, the village, into the future almost. So that's how much it has developed. And I'm very encouraged by that. That's why I'm very proud, very, very much at home here, and feeling that I'm with it, I'm associated with it. So,
as a talk show anchor, I have to be devil's advocate. But it's hard tonight to do that because I tend to agree with many of the points because they are valid points. But there's no invention that has taken away the disruption of commercial break. So we have to go for our first break, Yang Berhormat. But saya jual dulu soalan saya. I sell first my questions for the next point of discussion, which is, when you came out and announced digital economy, I was very excited. And then you announced a few new things. You know, in Kuala Lumpur, we like to call it Sarawak's own Petronas, and you have Petros. I'm governed under law from what I do as media practitioner under MCMC in Putrajaya. You have Sarawak's own version of MCMC. I work very closely with MDAC in Cyberjaya. You have your own Sarawak version of MDAC, which is SDAC. So from there to now, what has you seen? What have given you more passion and hope going forward? Maybe you can update us since the last few months on the good feeling that maybe you're feeling that we can share with the nation, and we'll come back to that after the short break. Hi, you're still watching a very special live session from Waratebas, Kuching, Sarawak. The first time ever for Astro Awani. We've done live before from Kuching, but not this side, because this time we have the World Islamic Economic Forum right here at VCCK, just across the road. Interesting view here, but what is more interesting is the thought leadership. Tun Musa Hitam just now attested to how far Sarawak has come in thought leadership alone. But the generation Y nowadays, Yang Mak Berhormat, not me, the millennials, they're very hungry for new development. So I have to give them something. So from the last time where digital economy was announced and we saw Petros and everything else that you have instituted, you gave the promise, I remember at IDEX, if I was not mistaken, that there will be no more this soon. That putar-putar, waiting for downloading or uploading, and you're not looking at gigabyte even, you're looking at petabyte. So what is short of a report card that we can share with the nation that has been achieved up to date?
First thing is we had our IDEX conference here, and we invited a lot of experts throughout the world to come, particularly Don Scott. And when I became Chief Minister, the first week I did was to ask the State Secretary to organize this international conference. Oh. Because if you talk about the future, your development must be based on technology. And Sarawak is a small country with a population of 2.7. We got the land there. But as you know, technology is something to do with production. It's a process of production. And technology can also give you an efficient system of production. And it covers all aspects of economy. And because of that, actually technology is enabler. Okay? Number two is connectivity. You connect market with production. And you have to connect with the farmers. How are you going to connect them? The only option is to provide a medium or conduit for you to connect between markets and production. Okay. And with that, you can see other parts of the world, you need real-time transaction. And because of that, we have to upgrade our infrastructure, digital infrastructure. That's why I was talking about 100 megabit per second for urban area, and between 25 to 50 megabit per second in rural area. In other words, either you apply cloud computing, fiber optic, or signaling. And these are the three medium. But now there is already an invention called microsatellite. So microsatellite will be having a wide spectrum. So what is important now is to get that connectivity at a fast speed. So I have put aside 1 billion ringgit Sarawak fund to put up that high-speed broadband internet system that will provide that connectivity. Number two, I must thank Prime Minister. Prime Minister top up another $500 million the last budget, meaning I got 1.5. Okay. So within 2 years, we will connect within 3 zones, the northern part, the central, and the southern part. Eventually, they will be connected by fiber optic as well as cloud computing. Once it is done, then everything will be digital. Even farming now, you can use fertigation. Fertigation can be controlled by your sensor, and that is the fourth industrial revolution, what we call, smart sensor, as well as artificial intelligence. Yeah. If you have a drone now, using artificial intelligence, then you can control your production house. And that will be the way we have to do agriculture, because it is based on what we call precision farming. You can really program the production of our agriculture produce. And that's where, beside that, of course, the services industry will be digitalized. Yeah. Once you have that, Even your transaction, payment also digitized. Sarawak, we just launched our Sarawak Pay. Meaning just matter of QR code, you got your smartphone, then transaction done.
Right.
So this is what we call a very efficient management of resources, optimize your resources, and that will certainly got impact on our rural farmers. As you know, technology transcend barriers. Yes. Therefore, the rural and urban no longer will be divided, but they will be connected in the process of production.
So this partnership between WIEF and Sarawak is like bagai pinang di belah dua. You know why? Yeah. That point that Yang Ahmad Muhammad has just made, before my moderated session at 3:45 was a session on fintech. Mm-hmm. And one of your panel members, Yang Mulia Rajateh, was saying that, I was talking to the Sarawakians in the finance sector, offering them this. They already have it. They already have cashless payment and all that. So I will not only believe that, I will propagate that. But my point to you is, we've seen that happening in Africa, even with the 2-3G technology, M-Pesa in Kenya, for example. Finally, millions of people being included, financial inclusion, they call it. India has followed suit, 100 million more bank accounts using SMS. But inclusivity and diversity, just like what Sarawak has, is crucial to WIEF. But the challenge of that is, how do you bridge the gaps? Like the deeper reaches of the nice rainforest that we have, and to make it cost effective. And I would like to quote, she doesn't know this, she's on a flight back, Rajateh, but she said that the bankers now are almost like the taxi companies facing the onslaught of Uber and Grab. They're trying incrementally, from my interpretation, to be digital. When she said she identifies more with the school of thoughts like Jack Ma, that said that it's not fintech, it's not financial technology, it's techfin, bringing technology to finance. So this is the greatness of WIEF too. And it's all, the points I'm making is the conversations happening in Sarawak matching perfectly well with those in the halls of BCCK for WIEF. So how would you comment on that?
Thank you. Actually, both of you are so perceptive that I have nothing more to add. But then I still would like to touch on this question about gap. Yeah. Very important for us to understand. The gap, you can talk in terms of technological terms, you can talk in terms of fintech, if you like. But what is very significant in Sarawak is simple. The significance is the role of the young during the whole course of this WIEF. It connects in my mind, say, well, the government, led by the Chief Minister, wants it, and I think, again, the government is getting it right to get the young to be very interested and very hands-on. And I was struck by the active manner that these young boys and girls who came, for example, we have Steve Wozniak. Everybody knows about him, everybody wants to come. And when we had this session, the whole hall was absolutely full of young people, and the questions mostly come from these young from Sarawak. Why? Just to make you happy, just not to make you happy, to make you realize that you are going the right way. So, which boils down to what I said in my opening speech, is education. The education must be fitted into your ambition. You cannot declare something, cannot achieve it if you don't get the right line to follow. And I think this is the way. That gap, I think, can only be satisfactorily filled if you fill it up with that thing called education.
So you're even more perceptive than I am. You have led to my next point, but again, I'll be disrupted by the commercial break. I will sell my question first to Yang Ahmad Muhammad. Talent. Every session I attended, every session I listened to from the media room, it boils down to a very main factor of talent. Technology can only be there, but it still serves humans. Humans will have to operate it, to customize it, whatever that's needed. And I think this is where the diversity of Sarawak will give a lot of innovative, collaborative ideas. Because in my session, I had the father of the PISA test from OECD, Andreas Schleicher, and he said that from the PISA test that we always take, and every time that result comes out, KL will be buzzing, every media will be talking, why are we not higher up the ranking? And he said, it debunks the readings from that particular research, debunks the fact that says, if you're not privileged, if you're not wealthy, you will not get good education. That's not true, because he said the top 10 of the individual families that was tested in America performed lower than the 10 least financially able families in Shanghai. So I just want to leave before the break on that. Once we come back, let's look how Sarawak looks at once the 1,000 over telco towers are there, it's megabits and petabytes and more than gigabytes flowing through the pipelines of fiber. What kind of talent are using it and what will it be reached for will be the issue that will be discussed after this short break. You are watching a very special live session right here from Water Tebas, Kuching, Sarawak. Stay tuned. You are still watching a very special live session right here, rooftop UCSI Hotel, just across the road from BCCK for the first time ever, World Islamic Economic Forum that has traveled far away to London, Dubai, now back home in Malaysia, chose Sarawak. And I think it has to do with talents also. So the question that I told you earlier, I would like to embellish it a bit by saying that the diversity of language, culture, and just the makeup of society in Sarawak should be the human resource and capital that will be key and central to the digital economy development.
Yeah, I agree with you. Talent is important. But if you study successful people today in technology, Zuckerberg started just sharing of notes among his peers. So he invented Facebook. But of course, you need somebody to look and maintain the system that connect Facebook to people who are using Facebook. And in this particular case, I think Sarawakians, maybe some of them, they got this natural talent. So number one is natural talent. And then you develop this natural talent. And number two, you must also have people who can make use of this talent and help this particular talent. So, in other words, technology is already there, but what the Sarawak government is doing now is to offer new discipline in our scholarship award. Number one, we need cyber security expert. Okay. So we have to send our students to study cyber security. Number two is molecular engineering. They must know about this. Basic is physics. If you talk about technology, actually it's logarithm, which is important, it's maths. So I think in this respect, I have decided through Yayasan Sarawak to offer new disciplines, such as social programming, program engineering, all those related to technology. While at the same time, of course, we don't forget about social studies, humanities. Right. But this technology is very, very important because you need people who can give technical support to the technology we are going to use. The time will come. Public transport will be using cars without driver. The time will come. Meaning, there will be disruptive change on Uber. Right. Uber will provide cars without driver. The moment you got an order from you, I will just send the car to you without any driver. And that will be the lifestyle in the future, as well as people having cars will be autonomous cars without driver. They go to the train, using the public train. They come by the car, and then they will use the device to send back the car to the house. Yeah. So you don't have any parking fees to pay.
Correct.
But you will create a new job, parking attendant, to a new job to maintain the car.
Yes.
So these are the technology that will come by, and the life of the future will be based on that. So in terms of talent, one is your natural talent. Number two, the talent that you need to support that natural talent.
Right. So are you making that clarion call? Sarawakians all over the world, Silicon Valley and otherwise, this is your chance to share?
Yes.
Even if you don't come back, share from wherever you are?
Yeah, I must tell you that I was in London. I met the Sarawak students in London. Some are from Imperial College, some from Cambridge, and notable universities. Then they say, hey, now I can come back. At least I have job there. Because their training does not match with our economic development then.
Yes.
But now they say there's a future. They can apply what they have learned, new technology they have learned, so for them to be employed or for them to start something new. That's what we call startup.
Yes.
So I have to find fund, what we call venture capital fund, for us to have this startup, and I form what we call digital village.
Okay.
Through incubator, and then they will migrate to digital village, and that is for those who have the natural talent. But then they have to be supported, of course, by technicians and engineers, and that is our roadmap.
In your heart, in your mind, on the very best of days, when you look at all that planning, we are only human like your Muhammad. Do you feel that if only one Sarawakian can manage to come up with the new Google, the new Facebook, the new Grab, from all this initiative, that would have put paid to all the hard work to bring Sarawak to where it is?
Yes, you know, just about last month, I have a 13-year-old boy inventing a new app for them to revise their textbook. A 13-year-old boy, Sarawakian. Meaning this chap has a future. The only thing is you just guide him so that he can get the degree and then refine technology. And that's an example where we have that natural talent. 13-year-old boy, you know,
Correct.
producing apps. And it's Sarawakian, kampong.
Yes.
Kampong boy.
Yeah.
Meaning that is an indication that there may be a lot of 13-year-olds out there. The only thing is you have to establish the ecosystem. The ecosystem where they can test their own talent and they be more innovative, they create something. And I hope that they will be the people who will turn Sarawak into a country like Estonia.
Yes.
So Estonia is our model, where everything is digitalized. Farming also digitalized. Mind you, Sarawak has about 60%, 50 years and below, out of 2.7 population.
Yeah.
And these people will come up and replace the old, and they are technically savvy, technologically savvy. In other words, all of them will be with all the computers, with a laptop, with a tablet. I must share with you, there's a school in Long San called Tumongong Oyong Lawai Jau School. Very, very remote in Long San. And we have sort of collaboration with a company in Silicon Valley because they want to test Google balloon satellite. What happened is the Form 4 and Form 5 in Long San, they are using tablet to study. Okay. Tablet. You just imagine a Kenya right in the remote area knows what is tablet. Otherwise, if you tell them tablet, they will talk about Panadol. But in this case, they are not talking about Panadol. This is an instrument, an equipment for me to learn to laptop. In other words, if that happened in Long San, a very remote village, if you expose our student, there will be a lot of people who know about tablet.
Couldn't have made a better point. Again, I have to be disrupted by the commercial break. And not only Tun, I think WIEF and Sarawak very compatible. I think it's very compatible with Awani too, because it was at Awani on this show actually, but in the studio, that we interviewed the father of ICT for Estonia. But I'll share the story a bit later. I want to weave in Tun, and I'll sell the question first. There's a lot of people's story here. It's so easy to go to World Economic Forum, World Islamic Economic Forum, and not see the small people. But even in this discussion, we have brought that up. I would like to ask for your deep wisdom to also share the story of the small people. I've interviewed your head of SME, Pak Tanri, and this is the focus of the World Islamic Economic Forum. You know, inclusivity, even bridging the gap where even the developed nation has not really fared well. So that's after the short break. You have to stay tuned, and I'll come back after the short break. Thank you so much. You know, time flies when we are with great people, great ambience. So I have about a few minutes left. Tun, the small people have always been the fight of WIEF, and we see it here too. Can you please sum that up for tonight?
This is what we are all about. We always emphasize on the small people in terms of businesses. We talk about small and medium enterprises. We have a lot of attention to them because they are the sector that needs most assistance and opportunities. That's one. Number two, insofar as talking about digital economy, what it's all about, it is can be presumed that everybody has to start from the young if you are interested in the future. Things are moving so fast, you cannot afford to become followers. Everybody needs to be a leader because new things come just whiz past us very fast. Before you know it, you're already out of date. The hope is that the young, without even being exposed too much, they find their way. They find their way into it. That's why whenever I have a problem with my computer, my laptop, whatever, I very unwillingly would call my children to say to help, because if I do that in 2 seconds, before I learn, they're already there. Yeah. So I'm learning myself. I think the elderly must appreciate the need for it so that the young can overtake. And this is an attitude that should become national. In this case, it is a state of Sarawak. You have a leader who's paying so much attention. And I think at the national level, we must develop this mentality.
After 8 decades, that's not just wise words, that's a legacy to follow. Yang Mak Muhammad, please close and sum up the discussion for us tonight.
Well, there is no option for us to move forward for the future. We have to embrace technology. Now, everything is run by technology, and technology runs very fast. For Sarawak itself, if we were to be a developed state with high income, and this is the route that we have to adopt. I and my team we try our very best to establish that ecosystem to marry technology and talent. Of course, we have our natural resources, and these natural resources that we have will be an added platform for us to move forward. I believe this should be done now.
Thank you so much, Ahmad Muhammad. Thank you so much, Ahmad Berbahagia Tun. Awani, since its birth 10 years ago, has never looked differently at Sarawak. We have always been there since our beginning. We are increasing our stories about Sarawak, and we are also now 70%, I would say, digital rather than TV. But I would like to thank the small people of Sarawak who has helped make our content of Sarawak so exciting for the national public. I take my hats off and tribute to that matriarchal grandmother in Lubuk Antu that pulled my hand into the house because she cannot believe that orang TV boleh datang sini 5 minit dari sempadan Kalimantan. That's what she said. And she showed me, lihat ni, ada 2 kaca TV. Satu ni untuk anak dan cucu, satu lagi hanya untuk menonton berita. So I do not believe what some big organizations tell me that there's not much cable satellite viewing of Awani in Sarawak. I do know that all of us want to get through the digital disruption by learning, unlearning and relearning again. And I thank Sarawak for giving us in the Malaysian ecosystem that benchmark to follow. Thank you Tun and WIEF for also setting the standards of thought leadership. This is one example, and I would like to thank you. Don't see them, many of them here giving us support, the leaders, the NGOs, the thinkers, and I would like to thank Serba Dynamic, Sarawak-born SME, now a very big darling on Bursa Saham Kuala Lumpur, for they stop bucking the trend, making it big in Middle East, Serba Dynamic in oil and gas. I would like to thank UCSI Hotel for making this smart partnership. This is not just a hotel, it's also a campus, it's a training, exposing students and young students of Sarawak to the industry. And I would like to thank all of you at home watching, and we'll see you very, very soon at just maybe 15 minutes from now. What has been spoken by the leaders, I'll go to the next group of leaders to see the execution and implementation. Whatever it is, this has been a great honor on top of UCSI Rooftop Lounge from Muara Tebas, Sarawak. I'm signing off for both my two guests. I'll be back in 15 minutes. Good night and goodbye. See you.